not even less than 8 years of experience with so much of vigor. Getting the position of front office manager is very rare, but it's not doable. It is possible, and Mr. Shreesh stands as a true testimony to it. And we are very proud of Mr. Shreesh for all his accomplishments. Mr. Shreesh has won the best youngest manager for the Accor Hotels, and then he is Six Sigma Bell certified, and lot of awards he has won for guest satisfaction and so on. He was also awarded the Manager of the Year for the year 2015. And in the year 2015-16, again at Accor Hotels, Mr. Shreesh won the Leadership Award and whatnot. Mr. Shreesh, I'm speechless and I'm really proud. There are very few who are in touch, and then you always used to be in touch, inquiring about the juniors, about the faculty and the institute, and that's a kind of a prestigious alumni that we have, like one Mr. Shreesh. So thank you so much, Shreesh, for sharing your valuable knowledge to these little
Mad Cat. And yes, the life in the industry has been a roller coaster altogether. I started my hotel management journey from the same institute where all of you guys are sitting right now and studying. So uh, this institute has actually created amazing hoteliers. I have quite a few of your seniors and my seniors as well, whom I have met in the industry during my experiences and during my assignments at many hotels. And trust me, everyone, the place where you all are right now is actually an amazing place, and you all are blessed to be there. Uh, just be with the faculties always, and I'll go ahead and share my knowledge about the yield management that happens in the hotels at the moment. And before we go ahead, let me just again share my screen. I think it went off. Please, one of you panel probably can let me know if you all can see the screen once I put it in. Is it visible right now? Eugene sir, I think I'm not able to hear
yes, it's
channel.
Yes,
visible.
sir, it is visible.
It's visible.
Okay, so it's amazing to be with all of you. I will take you through the milestones of the webinar. I've told you about myself, about my journey in the industry. Well, yes, I think Eugene sir has covered most of the points that I have been in the industry. Yes, rightly said, I was a management trainee with IHG, Intercontinental Hotel Group, wherein I have started my hotel journey from Crown Plaza in Cochin, wherein I was interning over there initially in the beginning of my career. And then I moved to Gromocure in Bangalore, where I was a duty manager. So Gromocure happens to be a brand of Accor. Post that, I was back in the same hotel where I started my career with as assistant front office manager, and then I moved ahead, took up an assignment of front office manager in the year 2017. That was right, exactly 4 years after the college. The date of joining was also coincidentally completing exactly 4 years. So my first assignment started on 3rd of June 2013, and 3rd of June 2017 I took up the position of front office and revenue manager at Sayaji Hotel in Raipur. So it was a property acquisition from Taj that I was a part of. Post that, I have spent my time as a front office and revenue manager over there for about big close to 20 months, and then the opportunity popped up of a core hotel wherein I was called back to head the department here in Guwahati. So presently, I'm working with the Hotel Guwahati as a front office manager. Now, this is about myself, about the achievement that I had. Yes, Eugen sir has mentioned about the awards that I've got. I have got a couple of them, and yeah, they were always a sense of, they always created a sense of achievement for me. It was never a target that I have kept. Kept doing my job. I kept ensuring that my people, be it guests or my employees, are happy and well motivated to work under me. And then things fell on track automatically, and I got back in a few awards during my tenure, a short tenure of only 7 years. After that, let me tell you guys why this and why this topic or yield management is presently important for you to learn, because the present market that we see it's quite volatile, and the years behind me, I have seen markets being captured by new hotels that enter into the city. There have been new brands, new companies which have already entered in the Indian market, and it was very difficult to sustain ourselves. So there were strategies that were laid out, keeping the yield management topics or the concept in mind by the revenue managers of the hotel industry. So yes, this is very important, because a day will come when all of you would be heading departments, all of you would be heading hotels, and your knowledge about yield management will help you to develop your hotel at a greater extent, so that the productivity increases for the property. And of course, the hotel has a higher productivity. You as a leader of the hotel is known for delivering higher productivity. So that's a very much vice versa case out here. Now let me tell you guys a bit about the subject that we are going to discuss during the next 45 minutes to 1 hour. So we are going to understand why exactly yield management is important. So we'll see yield tactics that are used in the revenue management of hotels. We will see what exactly is the price strategy. Not the exactly. We would probably want to understand that what kind of price strategies can be put in to have a better yield of the hotel. We are also going to understand how the calculation of the yield happens. That's a very easy calculation that you will understand after a bit of time. And then we also will be understanding about how exactly the revenues can be maximized in your departments or in your hotel, wherever you happen to work in future. Now, this is about the subject. Now, something which is very important, which I give to most of my students, or most of my webinars, is covered by that point which makes the most sense in the webinar, is that one tip that I probably have to give you guys from my experience of cracking an interview. And when I talk about interview, I have to tell you guys that the tip will help you cracking basically the management training program, because that is one good program that everyone would wish to join for. All right. So with your permission, I would want to go ahead into the subject initially, and then come on to the tip towards the end. Eugen sir, can I go ahead?
Yes, please, Mr. Shreesh.
All right. Thank you so much. So do we have all the students? How many participants are there, sir, today?
Roughly, we have around 59. Some more are joining, in fact.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Can I understand, sir, a bit of what years they are into? Are they majorly from first
yes,
year, second
it's
year, or third year?
it's a mix of third year and extended third year. Exactly, we have the present third year, as well as we
Okay.
have the extended third year batch who have not yet done their exams. So they are also
Okay.
here because they're yet to give
All
their
right.
semester
So
exams. So they are there.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. So let me go ahead and jump into what exactly is yield management. So the entire yield management is overall divided into these four terms, the four phrase we call it in the hospitality. It's we placing the right inventory to the right customer at the right time and at the right price. Now, most of you would have heard about uh, having the right customer at the right time at the right price, but very few of us talk about the right inventory. Now, when I talk about right inventory, for you, all of you, as you have done your internship in your second year, all of you would know that many hotels have various categories of room, and materializing the categories of room at different prices are something that the yield management helps it. Just to give you guys a little bit of more into the subject. Now, the picture on the screen very clearly mentions it's self-explanatory. So the more rooms available in your hotel, the less the price would be, and the lesser the rooms available in the hotel, the higher is the chance of materializing at a good rate or a higher rate of the occupancy. Yield management is basically, if I have to sum it up in a very simple words, it's basically focusing on selling and volume of sales with the objective of maximizing the revenues. Now, what do you all understand about volume of sales and selling price? So, uh, altogether, if I have to give you an example, if I have a 100-room hotel and the potential of the market to do 100 rooms at a price of 5,000 rupees a month, if the market has it, you have a potential to derive 5,000 multiplied by 100 rooms. That's actually your total revenue that you expect. So it's a similar formula of RevPAR. So the higher the RevPAR, the higher is your yield. If at a 100% RevPAR you materialize, your yield happens to be of 100%. Now, when I talk about yield, it's very important to understand the perishable behavior of your room. Now, it's always said that a room which is unsold for a night is unsold forever. Now, I am sure all of you understand this, and I think Mr. Eugene himself has told it numerous times in the college. I remember the saying from him only. It's like whenever, just imagine I have 100 rooms for a night, for on a day today, maybe on the 12th of August, and if I'm able to sell 80 only, I am losing the revenue of 20, and I cannot recover this 20 room revenue on the next day, that is on the 13th of August. It is impossible for me to go back on the 12th to change the date of the world, go back to the previous day, sell those rooms again. So if I do not sell a room for a night, it is actually going to be a loss for me throughout. I cannot recover that cost or I cannot recover that revenue at any given point of time. So it's very important that you understand the need of the people as per the time that you have, as per the requirement that you have. You have to cost your product in terms of hotels is your rooms and the food and beverage. You have to cost your product so that you do not incur losses, manage the quality of the product, and then sell it. Selling of a room is very important when it comes to a day-to-day activity. It all helps us in delivering higher profits for the hotels, and of course it makes sense in any business. If the profits do not fall to be higher, it happens to be not a healthy business altogether. Now, for all of you to understand what exactly is the price strategy, it was very important that I spoke about a basic understanding, that I give you guys a basic understanding of what exactly is the yield management. If everyone is clear with the yield management understanding, so in details, I'm not getting into the topic as of now because of the time gap. But then I want to tell you guys how exactly the entire concept is being used in the hotels industry at this time. So if I have to talk about the pricing strategy, it's very important that we all are dealing with people and delivering for people in return of money. So it's very important that you understand your customers, you understand their needs and requirements, you understand the seasonal demand, and then have a price so that you maximize the yield of the property or the hotel. Now, how does the maximization of revenue happen? It is based out of these three parameters which are there on the screen at the moment. It is very important to price our product correctly. It is important for us to have a correct positioning of the price. Unless and until we position ourselves to the market, we will not be able to get the right clientele and our selling strategy would not work. Now, when I talk about the inventory allocation, to give you guys a little bit overview, a typical hotel company has various brands. Now, a very smart student will have this doubt that if Accor is a company, for example, or let me take a company as IHG, so why should it have various brands? Now, this is what is called inventory allocation in a major term. If I have to allocate my inventory, I will have to allocate looking at the demand of people. Not everyone will be able to afford a Crown Plaza or an Intercontinental. So we should not lose on the business that is around in the market, which probably can afford a Holiday Inn Express. When I talk about these brands, these are of IHG, these are just for your example. So not everyone will be able to, understand your service standards. So we actually define our service standards according to the need of customer, and then we all in the industry try to place these place these clienteles in the right hotel so that the hotel turns out to have a huge profit or a higher revenue, and also the people who are working at that point of time and the people who are actually experiencing the hotel at that point of time, experiencing the services of the hotel at that point of time, it's very important that they receive the value for money. Unless and until we have both of them, it's not going to work. Now, what exactly is the selling strategy that we all use is what I've just mentioned. So allocation of inventory and selling it to the right clientele is what will help you to maximize on your revenue. So we will be able to capture most of the people who are around looking for hotels in the city. Now, this will also help us to improvise on your revenues and reduce on the cost of the hotel, hence delivering higher profitability, which we have seen in the earlier slide. I hope I'm making sense to all of you. I cannot hear a single yes from the entire group.
Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Shreesh,
sir.
perfect.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Great learning. Yeah.
Now, let me tell you guys of how do you exactly do this in the hotel. It's very easy for me to preach about the yield management and tell you guys and what exactly we can do. But then it's very important again to understand for the budding hoteliers like you to understand how exactly we will be able to deliver our strategies and have everything in place when we have the right product given to us. It is always important to acknowledge these smaller factors that are going to be on the screen in the next moment for you guys to understand how exactly we will be able to derive better revenues for the hotel. Now, the special rates for multi-room stays are one that strategy that most of the hotel do. I will not name the company, but I have worked in a company earlier in my previous assignment where the adults take a room and the children's room will become on 50% of the price. Now, this happens on the bar rate. It's very important. I will tell you how this strategy exactly works. A person who's traveling who's having two kids traveling along with them would look up for having two rooms, or they will be able to stay in a property wherein the room is bigger and they still would require extra beds for the kids to stay in. Now, that's not a very comfortable journey And the person, if he has a good spending capacity and the money does not make much of a difference in terms of looking for a travel, then I think 50% on the second room for the kids would attract him to be, because he is just spending 50 more for a room of 100 rupees. He's spending only 50 more and getting another room for his kids, wherein he's creating experience for his own kids, and he's also ensuring that the kids have a comfortable stay along with the parents. So that's one strategy to give you guys an example of. Reward long-staying guests with upgrades are another good strategy that are being used in the hotel at this point of time. Now, if the guest who stays for a longer duration, the amount of expenditure that he is going to incur in the hotel is going to be higher than anyone who comes on a transit visit. Now, upgrading them will actually help us to materialize the cost of the vacant room, which is on a higher category. So we will be able to sell one of our higher category at a minimal addition of price, and then we will ensure that the guest is rewarded due to that. So if anyone else who probably takes a suite room at double the amount, probably this gentleman or the lady, whoever, or this traveler can actually get it at a slightly lower price than that, and we are also materializing it. It's again important to have special packages which are tied around the seasonal events. Example, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day. All these attract a lot of businessmen or leisure travelers to be in your hotel if your packages are lucrative. The high versus low season rates or the week rates are also a factor in a hotel which is actually in a city wherein the movement happens during the week. The prices of the rooms during the week goes higher, and in places wherever you have leisure destinations, your prices during the weekends goes higher and the weekdays prices are lower. This ensures that we fill the hotel during the weekend and the weekdays. Most probably, the idea is to sell it equally, but then depending on the city, it might change. Use of room types to distinguish rates and provide value. Yes, I mentioned about that earlier. The different categories of room can help us earning more revenue and increasing your RevPAR. Now, there are two terms that are highlighted in this. Now, why have I put it over here is for you guys to have a little more understanding as you guys are the seniors of the college. The focus on direct booking versus commission that are heavy on the OTA and GDS. So, OTA is basically online travel agent, and GDS is your global distribution system. So any bookings that flows in from any online travel agent or a global distribution system, it is understood that these particular bookings have commission that has to be paid to the channel that the booking is flowing through. Now, how does this exactly work? If I am booking.com or I am xyz.com, which provides hotel accommodations to our clients, and I have a good productivity in the hotels and people in the market know me. What I do, I charge the hotel a commission of almost 18 to 20% just for selling one room. Wherein, if I, as a hotel, directly get that guest, I will be able to reduce on the commission that I have paid to the travel agent or the online travel agent or the GDS portal. It's very important that the hotel has a capture of the bookings that are flowing through online travel, on any online source, and wherein the commission is being paid. It's very important for us to convert and materialize those particular bookings in our own system so that the commission amount reduces and we capture more and more number of guests. And that is one reason why we have loyalty programs in place by most of the hotel companies. Now, this is a very important point which will be discussed with you during the tip that I'm going to give you towards the end. Leverage your online reputation to your advantage. Guests are more likely to book with you if you have a good reviews. So it is quite natural that in this era when we have a lot of online distribution channels for food deliveries, for groceries, and especially after and during the pandemic that we are currently in, we have seen how things have moved inside our doors, by the online aggregators. For everything and anything, now people are dependent on applications and delivery services. Every time when you as a customer or me myself as a customer have to dine at a restaurant, it's very important. If I'm spending a bit of money from my pocket, it's very important for me to understand and learn how the services of that property or of that particular restaurant is if I have to dine in, because the options at this point of time has gone very higher. So delivering right services and giving guests the value for money is very important, because you are going to materialize your online reputation, and your customers who are not yours as of now and are planning to have something that you have in your product list will definitely look at the reviews before they buy your product. So it's very important that you maintain all your online reputation during your tenure or during your any sales strategy that you have. If you have a good sales strategy and a bad service reputation, yield is going to be very lower because new customers are not going to come in. Discount, upselling, and cross selling in your strategy is actually a negative parameter that is being considered in terms of revenue management. Why do I say that? People would say that upselling is something that is very important to improve on the revenue of cross selling. Now, it cannot be considered. It is definitely a good source of revenue, but it cannot be considered if I have to plan a strategy, because upselling you do to a guest who has already been in front of you. Cross-selling you do to a guest who has already utilized one of your services. So the guest is already yours. Now, upselling uh, is actually a tactic that helps you to maximize on the revenue, but it cannot be a strategy to maximize the yield of the property or yield of the place. Now, let me give you guys example at this point of time. Just imagine a hotel has 50 all-suite rooms with a rack rate of $350. Now, in case I have to sell all these rooms, as I mentioned in the earlier example, I will be getting 17,500 is the total revenue, is the potential revenue of my property. If I am able to sell only 25 rooms out of 50 at a price of 200, I am actually making a gross of only 5,000. So RevPAR is actually going to be of 5,000 only, which is not a very uh, productive, or sorry, I have mentioned RevPAR, it's going to be the ARR. So I have actually materialized only 25 rooms at a price of 200, wherein my potential to do business was of 17,500. So if my strategies have to be in place in this particular scenario, I will have to bring this 28%, which you can see here, to 100% to have a higher yield of the property. So basically, I will have to place in strategies to sell more rooms at a more higher price. Or I do double selling of the room. So double selling is basically I materialize rooms during the 2 days time slots of the day, so that I have few rooms, all the rooms that get occupied during the day and again during the night again. That's a bit difficult in terms of driving revenues of selling rooms twice a day. It is possible, but not possible for all the rooms together. So this is a brief understanding about how exactly your yield strategy should be to maximize the revenues of the hotel. For all of you guys to understand, when you join the industry, you may not be having chances to do yield management altogether. So what do you do to contribute to the yield management? The contribution of the contribution to the yield management is very important, and you will be able to strategize once you reach a certain height in the tenure or in the industry. So it's very important that you materialize your day use rooms. As I said, this is a double selling strategy. You upsell instead of comp upgrades. Now, earlier I have mentioned that upsell is not a good strategy for developing your yield. Now, when compared with the complementary upgrades, it is very important that upsell is done because your upsell gives you a bit of increase in the revenue, wherein your complementary upgrades restrict the revenues altogether. Materializing your rooms during your sold out situations. So a lot of times when we take our inventory, when we overbook our inventories in many hotels. Now, why do we overbook when we don't have it? It is a good question that everyone, or probably, I would say even I had when I had started my career. So I had this question that why should I overbook my property when I cannot deliver those number of rooms? So it's like I have 100 room inventory and I have sold 102. Where am I going to give these two guests who have booked with us? Where am I going to accommodate them? Is a very big question that all of us do have. Being in the system for some time, I then understood that not everyone who is booked your hotel would come and stay with you on the same day. There are chances of last moment cancellations. There are chances of the guest turning off to be a no-show. There are chances that, you materialize this particular guest and this additional guest and create a relationship because of having serving him during the high demand. There are a lot of other ways that you can actually utilize during this sold out situation. So these situations help us to maximize our yield again. Reusing rooms of day use. These are this is the strategy which is used when we sell rooms two times, multiple times a day. Probably I would say not only two times. They're sold multiple times a day. While we do this, we again materialize the revenue. So if my potential to do is to do a revenue of 5,000 from a room, for example, if I sell this room at 4,000 and I sell it for two times a day, my revenue for the room is coming up to be 8,000, which is definitely higher than 5,000. So reuse for day use rooms are again a very important parameter. Now, early departure and late checkout fees is a very small amount which contributes to almost 2% of the increment in the room revenue, and it can be increased. During my experiences in the industry, have increased it to almost 5% in my assignment. Now, when we talk about room revenues in crores, for 1 crore, if I have to increase my revenues using early departures and late checkouts, I will actually be able to generate almost 3 lakh rupees, which is not a less amount altogether. Now, this is just for a crore. If my hotel does 100 crores, you can multiply the numbers. So this is what the revenue management in hotels, or probably the yield management in hotel, is all about. This brings me to the end of the brief session, and you all are now welcome with your doubts in case you have any.
Very informative, Mr. Shreesh.
Thank
I
you.
could refresh. Yes.
Any questions
Student
that
fees.
we have from anyone, sir?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, and I'm Pranav Jairam, who will be conducting the Q&A session for today. So,
All right, Pranav, go ahead.
this is such an informative session, sir. Just how to make something big from something small? How to get the maximum from what we've got? And this is just a lot for us, sir. It will definitely help us in the future to crack our MTs and everything, sir. Thank you so much. Now to the audience,
Pleasure.
any questions? Yeah, we have a first question, sir, from Roshan Kumar. Can wash factor affect yield management?
Yes, it definitely affects your yield management, and the watt factor is considered while we overbook the hotel.
Uh, okay, sir. And the if the next question is from Sampath Kulkarni. What happens on the off chance that all the guests show up and when we are that the hotel is overbooked?
Well, for this particular scenario, I have actually had a lot of expertise in doing it. I will give you guys a little bit of brief what exactly happens. So there are multiple ways you shift the guest to a similar hotel and you bear the cost of it, because overbooking is always considered to be a revenue management tool and is not considered to be very healthy in terms of having a business, because it is done not every day. It is done very fewer times during the hotel operations. We as a hotelier have to incur loss. The guest might have to be given a complimentary room in a different hotel, and hotel bears the cost of it. So that's one way to handle it, and there are multiple other ways to handle it as well, which will take quite a bit of time for me to describe. But then it is very important over here that we, as a hotelier, if have confirmed rooms to any number of guests, it is our responsibility. It's our, I would not say responsibility. It's basically our what do you say? It's our professionalism that we should maintain and delivering a similar or the same service to all of them for the promise that we have already made.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
The next question is from Dwa- Dwaipayan, and his question is: in the post-COVID phase, how can the hotels earn more revenue to recover?
Well, there have been multiple strategies by multiple hotel companies that are in place, but then all of them have not been tested yet. And even the strategy that we hold presently have not been tested full fledged. So I wouldn't want to comment on anything which is on the current ongoing pandemic, because we're still ongoing on that. But then always understand that we are being very reactive to however the market is reacting back to us. So if the demand, however the demand is, the hotels right now are being very reactive to it and are adapting to the change in the market, is what the post-COVID phase is going to be. We don't know what are the changes that we will all come up with, but then we are still observing and we're still analyzing the behavior of people at this point of time.
Okay, so sir, another question following up this question is: you would have seen other hotels go through similar trials or tests of different techniques to get in guests. Which one
Mhm.
would you prefer, or which one did you look at and think about it and be like, okay, yeah, this is an actual possibility of this happening?
Sorry, I did not understand your question, Pranav. I would beg your pardon.
There's a follow-up question to this question which was asked by him. Uh, Basically, they would have been different strategies from different hotels, sir. Like you might
Yeah.
have heard about.
Mhm.
Up to now, which strategy do you think will be a possibility? Which can
Strategy in terms of driving yield, you mean to say, or strategy in terms
driving
of
yield,
driving
getting
profit, driving yield?
getting yeah, getting room bookings and getting guests coming into
See,
our hotel.
when I talk about strategies, and so this actually happens to be for me, it happens to be a question which will not make much of sense in this conversation, because any strategy that we plan, uh, it is not required that it will be foolproof and it will give us 100% result. So all the strategies are based out of risks that the leadership takes. and a strategy is always considering the past data in mind. Now, for this, if I have to plan a strategy for a market A, for a hotel named X, it cannot be similar to a property which is in a market B and the name of the hotel would be Y. So there cannot be a correlation between different hotels based out of different cities. So strategy would change, and because the hotels are in different locations, the hotels have different standards, different cultures. It is very important that we as hoteliers do not restrict ourselves and strategize as actually as per the previous assignment. So we always try to bring in new strategies which happens to be on trial and error, and then after that we understand if it is working. If it works only for that property. It is not required that the same strategy would again work for a different property that we work in. So I cannot say which is the best or which is not the best. Every strategy that we plan or that we plan during our assignments are learnings for even all the hoteliers that we are associated with.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. The next question is asked by Vignesh Bala. The
Mhm.
price strategy for the yield management is better to earn by OTA or by GDS system in terms of the hotel revenue.
Well, if I have to say, I would not want to prefer revenues from both of them. I would want to have a direct booking, as I mentioned, because both of them have got commission involved with it. Different OTA have different commissions, and different GDS also have different commissions. So there are GDS which are higher than the OTAs but have got higher productivity also. For example, Galileo. If I have to talk about Galileo, the productivity happens to be very high and the commission percentage also increases. So it depends on the productivity, and both of them happens to be a gray area in your yield management. It's actually a gray area in planning your strategy for the yield of the hotel. So we shouldn't prefer both of them. But then, uh, to my understanding, I could answer this in a little better way again. If I have got no option and my market only takes bookings, like major of the travelers majorly take bookings through OTA or GDS, then I should select higher productivity and lower commission GDS and or OTA for that matter.
Okay, yes, definitely, sir. And there's another question from Surabhi Priya. That is there any specific number of overbooking to be taken for a day? Like,
Well, I would say there is no specific number for that matter, but nothing above 5% for sure.
nothing above 5%. Sure.
Five
Okay, sir.
percent is considered to be a maximum overbooking that a hotelier should take. 5% is also too much, but then that's a calculated risk that we take. Not every time a 5% overbooking would help you. There will be times when you can also go to the 10, and there will be time where you cannot even go a single digit. So it depends. Again, depends on the scenario.
Okay, so yeah, we cannot predict what's happening on that particular time. So yes, definitely.
Exactly. So the day where you're working in would actually be able to help you to determine on what strategy you're going to play on that particular scenario.
Yes, definitely. Another question from Roshan Kumar. Sir, can you please explain what are the potential high and low demand tactics?
So a load and a high demand tactics are very simple to understand. As I mentioned on the very second or the third slide, if your demand is lower, if your demand is lower, your price has to be lower.
Okay.
If the demand is high, your price will increase. So the maximization of revenue happens after you reach a bit of your benchmark. So I cannot be doing revenue management when my hotel is empty and I have only 10 rooms occupied out of 100. I am considering 100 to be an example at this session. So if I have a 100-room property, I cannot do revenue management to maximize on the revenue if I have only 10 rooms occupied. But in case I have 50 rooms that are already occupied, I can now place a strategy to build in or to bring in more 50 rooms at a higher price. But then when I have only 10 rooms occupied, it is more important for me to fill my hotel till 50 rooms at least, so that my hotel has got a minimum revenue for that particular day, and then I maximize on the rest of the revenue, the rest of the rooms that are made. So revenue management is possible only when there is high demand, and revenue management is possible when there is low demand, only to materialize on the number of rooms that you are selling for the day.
Yes, sir, definitely. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Now going on to the next question. Sanal Sure is asking, is it true that channel managers can help eliminate overbookings and incorrect information given by the guests?
Well, see, I do not think so. I have not come across anything of that sort. A channel manager is basically a person from the online travel agent. So if you're referring to the channel manager of the online travel agent, so the revenue managers are in touch with these channel managers to manage their inventories online. So the promised inventories, if they are sold, they have to be accommodated. Now, when I have to talk about incorrect information given by the guest, what kind of incorrect information you mean to say here, San?
Like personal information, like something about uh, like the card card details or something like that.
So, the channel managers do not really help in terms of the correct information from the guest. But now with the technologies, the contact number of the guest and the email address are being used for verification of their accounts when they try to book a room through a channel, through a online travel agent or through a GDS. So that information mostly comes authentic at this point of time. But even after that, if I have to talk about the credit cards that are being used, a lot of times when we in the hotel experience the fake credit cards that are being used to make reservations, and we have processes in place and the cancellation policies are in place, wherein if the payment or if the credit cards are not charged before arrival, we have a chance to deny the reservation. Also, we do not really encourage doing that most of the time, but then it is yes an important parameter. It's actually an important information that we all are already getting from all the OTAs. So they play a very important role, but not a very major role again. We as a hotel has all the rights to manage our own inventory. If we wish to deny room without a payment, we always have that right.
Yes, sir, definitely. Anybody else? Any questions to ask? Anything? Okay, sir. So I think that's about it in the question and session. Now we'll move on to the rapid fire round. This is a little bit of an interesting session for all the guests coming in
Okay.
my webinar. So basically, you
So
should
this
answer
I
the
was not
question.
informed of, and
It's a surprise round, sir.
I hope that's not a ragging session for me.
No, definitely not, sir. But there is one
Yeah.
condition. It's either you should answer the question only in one word or in one sentence.
Come on, yeah. Mad Cat should be exempted from this. Although I'll be very,
But
I'm
it
looking
should be
forward
like,
to go ahead and answer to most of your questions. Please go ahead.
first question of the rapid fire round is what do you like to do during your spare time?
I actually go online and study a lot.
Okay, if you don't mind following up with that question, so like what's like anything like wine beverages or something like that?
Sorry.
Uh, like what are your interests, sir? The next question, what are your interests?
So I have been a person who actually wishes to go around and see places. And if you see my experiences, I have mostly worked on leisure destinations, except one. So on my off days, either I study or I like to cruise on my bike. So I go around all across the hills if in case I have much time to do.
That's awesome, sir. Cool, superb. Next question, which is the best part of your work?
Best part of my work is follow up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, at my level, I delegate the work and I have to do follow up throughout the day. And that's something which is very interesting. My team enjoys when I do the follow up because they run around.
Yes, sir.
Apart
The
from that, so that was on a like lighter note. Something if I understand that you meant what I enjoy in front office, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. So something that I really enjoy in front office is interacting with people and understanding them. So interacting with people, many of us would do during our internship and during our experiences in hotels. But understanding them and knowing them better is something that we all should look forward to do. I have my guests who are now my friends. I have difficult guests whom I have handled in past who are connected with me on WhatsApp and Facebook now, even after I have left that particular hotel. So yes, that's something which I really enjoy doing. I really love being with people around.
This is what everybody hoping for, sir, in this industry. We just want to have that experience and exposure like that, sir. The next
Correct.
and the next question is very important question, sir. How was college life?
You are actually making me nostalgic, Sanal. I was in room number 205
Sorry, Sanal, I got a call in between. I think there was a pause. So, yeah, this question is quite nostalgic for me because I was in room number 205 in the third year, and I was in room number 210 in my first year. So, I remember my room numbers even now, so you can understand how my college life was. I have spent most of the time in the hostel, and the classes, of course, I have attended the classes and I have passed all my examinations on time. But then yes, college life is one that good thing that you will all miss after your time in your college. And it's important to move ahead and remember all the memories that you had in your college. uh, for the coincidence, Eugen sir has taken classes for front office for me for all the 3 years. So it was equally important for me to be back in the college and do something for Eugen sir and all of you guys. So you all will cherish that in future as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank
And
you
thank
so
you
It's
much,
so
fun.
much
Mr. Shreesh,
for
for
I have
that.
done a
Thank
lot of mischiefs. I have shared a couple of them with Eugen sir also last time when we were talking. I can share it with you guys when we connect over on a different forum, but not in this forum.
definitely, sir. And we're all hoping for this to happen, sir. Last two questions, sir. Second last question is, who is
Yeah,
your
Pranav?
biggest inspiration in life?
I can't hear you actually. Hello?
The second last question, sir. Two questions to go. The second last question is, who is your biggest inspiration?
Eugen sir, I think there's a little problem with the microphone. I can't hear anyone.
How about my voice, Shreesh?
Just a moment, sir. Let me just.
Can you hear me, Shreesh? Am I audible now,
Hello?
Shreesh?
Yes, you're
Oh,
audible now.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go ahead. I'm sorry. There was a little
Yeah,
bit of disconnection.
not a problem, sir. The internet. Uh, who is your biggest inspiration in life, sir?
Well, I have three inspiration, out of which one is on the screen. I have Mr. Eugene James, who is one of my inspiration from the college. Post college, during my internship, I had an executive chef who was my inspiration, and his name was Manav Kaul. He was executive chef of Hyatt Regency Kolkata. In the industry, John Matula and Dilip Mishra are those two individuals whom I have learnt a lot from, and I have always learned from the way their leadership was. So I really cherish a lot.
That's brilliant, sir. And the last and final question: what message would you like to give the students who wish to become successful in the future?
Well, I don't consider myself to be too big to give you guys that answer, but then one thing that I have learned from my own experience is be motivated. Self motivation is the best motivation. I cannot think of anything apart from that. Uh, the more you like what you are, the more you enjoy what you have chosen, the more you will be able to success in that particular field. Uh, I have always was interested in food production during the college, and I always wanted to be a chef when I came to IHM Chennai. But then that I had there was a time when I was heading for recruitment. There were a lot of people who told me to take front office. I was inclined towards kitchen, but then there was a time when I thought, okay, let me try this, and then see if I would have been chef, I wouldn't have been front office manager in 4 years. So yeah, I have chosen to be in hotel management, and I have really loved doing that. It's not that I knew everything about hotel management when I came to the college. I have seen a lot of things which came in as a surprise as this rapid fire came to me. So it was very important that I take everything positively. When I came in the industry, I was accepting the change is again another thing that has helped me. It's just whatever choice that I happen to make, or anyone that you happen to make with whatever conditions that you place in, it's very important that you really enjoy doing it. If you don't enjoy, start enjoying it. There is only one option. If you have chosen hotel management, find out a way to enjoy this. Trust me, I have seen many people leaving the industry I've never thought of. Even in these bad times, I still enjoy what I do. It's very important. If you enjoy, you automatically start getting your success. It is reciprocative, and you will actually be able to grab in whatever you want. The more you are connected with people, you're more interested towards your own job. That is the time when you will actually connect with like-minded people, and knowledge sharing happens with that.
Thank you so much, sir. This was an honor having you here today, sir. And to convey the vote of thanks, I'm passing it over to our.
Pranav, before you close, there is something very important that I was supposed to give towards the end of the session. Anyone remembers what was it? Yojin sir is smiling.
Important tip. Important tip.
Hmm,
Yes. So, uh, I was supposed to give you all a very important tip to crack management training. Now, why did I stop you, Pranav, before you could end the session? Is because I've been in the same place where you guys have been, and it's always an honor to tell you guys what is required to be at this position or to grab the best sort of best management training programs in your campus recruitment. So, Yujin sir, probably this is for all the students, and this is something which is not updated in many colleges, or this is not being taught in many colleges now. So, if you can include in the curriculum offline, I'm sure it is from NCHM, but then as a knowledge sharing, if every third year student especially can be given this tip, that would be great. It will actually be very helpful. Now, when we prepare for all our interviews, I have seen people sitting with. So we used to sit in front of the placement cell, and we used to read those Xerox copies of, the notes that was given to us. We used to turn pages, find answers. We were all across looking for, the curiosity that we all had was for what is the question that is being asked to the person who just went before me. And we all start preparing on that, and we all say, yaar, ye to nahi aata, this is something which is left out. We all start focusing on the technical knowledge that we all are supposed to have, but we actually lose out to learn one very important thing from your internship is what exactly is your guest management. Now, as a theory, guest management is a huge concept. I have recently taken it for IHM Bangalore as well. I'll probably try to do it with the permission of Eugene sir in future if in case it is there. Now, I will
Sure.
give you a small point of from the guest management matrix. What happens, most of you are known to have similar knowledge when we as recruiters come to your college or come to any college for that matter. We are not looking for people probably who knows the ARR. We are not looking for people who probably knows what is RevFi. Everything of that sort is to be trained. Remembering the formula of ARR does not mean that you turn out to be a good manager. Remembering a formula of RevFi does not mean that you happen to be a good manager. When we recruit, or when any hotel for that matter recruits for management training, it's always important for us to know how much eye for detail or attention for detail that you all have. And it's very important that all of you during your internship should actually learn how the guest satisfaction is being tracked. So most of the hotel companies have Trust You, Medallia, Guestbooks, GSI as their aggregators for feedback. And there is scores that are being laid off as targets to the hotels, and there are strategies that are being placed in the industry to achieve those higher satisfaction levels. We all in the industry go around this one person who's named as guest. And as rightly said, you must have heard from many of your faculty that guests are God. It is correct that the guests are God because a guest who comes to your hotel has got many options available for him in the market. If he is chosen to be with you, he is definitely going to be a very potential person for your business. And it's very important that you place in right strategies and understand what is happening during your internship. So whenever you sit for interviews, this is the tip that I was going to talk about. Whenever you sit for your interviews, remember few moments or few instances. It could be one or it could be many. Always have to remember that instance where you have seen a guest being serviced going out of the box. And if for people who are right now in first year or maybe second year who haven't gone for training as of now, you should all go to when you are in the industry, you should all go talk to the assistant managers and supervisors of the department and understand how the guest management actually happens. It is not the ARR and the RevPAR that we do in the hotel. It is the services that we deliver to the guests is very important. You all should be guest centric. You should all try to showcase your guest centric behavior in the interview. You should try to showcase how much attention for details you had in capturing those important moments that were created by maybe you or maybe by the team of the hotel. But then you really have to be very smart enough in picking up these details, these theories, these practical examples, and talk about them, create your own stories, create your own illusions, and talk about it in your interview. This actually would showcase the recruiters that you are focused. You are focused when you were in your internship. It will showcase the recruiter that you have a zeal for developing this satisfaction in the hotel. You may be working in kitchen or you work in F&B service or you work in front office or housekeeping or any department of the hotel. Don't forget to talk about the guest. In our interviews, we talk about subject. I have always spoke about guests in my interview, and I have been telling this to many budding hoteliers at this point of time, and there have been many who have already made use of it now. We all in the recruitment panel actually look forward for people who have this zeal to develop and enhance guest experiences. And this comes only with passion. This doesn't come just like that. You need to have a great passion and you need to actually have that attention for detail to note these things and talk about it. It could be one that situation, but then learn about that situation in detail. That will help you out for sure.
Thank you so
That's
much.
it. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. And this will definitely help us for sure in the placement, all the campus placements and every other job interviews coming in ahead in our future, sir. Thank you so much. And
Pleasure. Pleasure is all mine, Pranav.
yes, sir. And like I said, sir, it's an honor to have a Mad Cat with us today, who is giving us his imparting knowledge and their experience over to us, and it's fantastic, sir. And to this, I would like to pass it on to Rachna, who will give the vote of thanks. Thank you so much, sir. Rachna.
Good evening, sir. At the
Hey,
outset,
Rachna.
I'd like to thank Mr. Shreesh Mishra for his amazing session. He certainly has left us on a high with his talk. Thank you so much, sir. I'd also like to thank our faculty and especially Mr. Eugene for organizing this session. And I'd also like to thank the student team of IHM Chennai with Sanal, Pranav, Arjun for hosting and organizing the session beautifully. Thank you so much. Lastly, I thank all those who joined us and became a part of this session. Thank you so much and a good day to all of you.
Thank you so much, everyone. In case somebody would want to connect, I have my LinkedIn ID with Eugene sir. You guys can get connected with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'm available for all of you guys for any questions that you come across. Thanks. It was lovely interacting with all of you. Thank you so much, Eugene sir. It's an
Thank you
amazing
so much.
session
Thank
that
you,
you
Mr.
helped
Shreesh.
me organize.
No, no, no. Thank you so much. We're really grateful to you.
Have a great day ahead, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
All the students, please fill out the feedback form over here, right in the comment section over here. And you'll get your certificates by the end of the day. Thank you so much. Have a great day.